Welcome to the deep dive, the Beatitudes and Kingdom Ethics.
Ah, yes. Classic stuff. Distilling profound spiritual truths.
Absolutely. And the source looks at it through different lenses, right? Different thinkers.
Exactly. Which raises that question. How do different perspectives illuminate the same scripture? We get insights here from three key figures. Pastor David Pawson, J.C. Ryle, and Craig S. Keener.
Let's start with Pawson. What's his angle?
Pawson, known for his clear preaching style, really hammers home the radical call of the Beatitudes. He sees phrases like, "Blessed are the poor in spirit," not as gentle suggestions, but as demanding countercultural humility.
Countercultural. That sounds intense. A direct challenge to how we normally think.
Precisely. It's calling for a completely different way of life, fundamentally at odds with sort of worldly values.
Okay, so if Pawson highlights that radical challenge, how does someone actually live that? Does Ryle offer a more practical path, or does he make it even harder?
Ryle takes a more pastoral approach, a plain-spoken exposition, as the source calls it. For him, the Beatitudes aren't just lofty ideals, they're actual marks of genuine Christian character.
Ah, so more about observable qualities.
Yes, he's focused on the practical application.
Mhm.
These are tangible things that should be evident in how a believer lives day to day. So Pawson says it's radical, and Ryle says, okay, if it's radical, here's what it actually looks like.
Right, moving from the ideal to the practical character. But how would this have landed with the original audience, or even for us today? Is it easy to grasp? Does Keener's historical perspective help here? Does it show obstacles they faced, or maybe advantages we miss?
Keener's crucial for that. He brings in the socio-historical dimension. He helps us understand the original force of Jesus' words in their first-century context.
How so?
Well, for example, understanding what poor in spirit meant to people under Roman rule, or in a society heavily stratified by wealth and status.
Yeah.
It gives the Beatitudes way more punch.
Makes sense. Context is key.
Absolutely. Jesus wasn't speaking into a void. He was addressing a specific social, economic reality and challenging its foundations. Keener helps us grasp those cultural implications for the original listeners, making the words resonate differently.
So wrapping up the section on Matthew 5, what's the main takeaway for you, the listener?
It's really a profound call for, well, humility, developing authentic character, and living out what's often termed kingdom living.
And it shows how these ancient teachings, they still challenge us, right? They shape personal ethics, worldview, even today. It's practical guidance for how to actually live.
Not just theory, but everyday choices and attitudes.
Okay, let's pivot again. Explore this from a totally different angle, because to really get early Christianity or any ancient text, you need to understand the world it came from. The hustle and bustle, the sometimes gritty reality.
Right, the lived experience.
And your sources from Patheos, particularly Ben Witherington's articles, they give us these amazing archaeological insights into ancient port cities, Miletus and Ostia. It's like stepping into a time machine, not just dry history.
Oh, absolutely. The detail is striking. Take Miletus. Maybe less visited now than Ephesus nearby, but it was a huge site back then, a major Asian hub.
Thriving on trade.
Yeah, sea commerce. But it declined eventually. Its harbors silted up, turned into marshland, which then brought disease. Classic problem for port cities.
And the archaeology, what did they find?
An impressive theater, for one, complete with a vomitorium, which thankfully just meant an exit ramp.
Relieved sound. Okay, good to know. So a lively city then, a real center.
Definitely. Huge thermal baths, among the largest in the ancient world. Hot, tepid, cool rooms. The caldarium, tepidarium, frigidarium. And you needed a god for the baths, right?
Yeah,
So Neptune was depicted lounging there.
naturally.
There was also a busy marketplace, a bouleuterion, that's where the city council met, near something called the Delphinion. The sources even mention statues, a famous one, and a lion statue that used to guard the harbor before it silted up.
Sure.
It paints a picture of a sophisticated, self-governing city.
Wow. Such a vivid image. And then there's Ostia, Rome's port. Sounds like another fascinating window. What do we learn from Ostia?
Ostia was all about enterprise. It was the engine for Rome's maritime trade. We hear about homes of wealthy ship owners.
Showing off their success.
You bet. Business-themed mosaics in their houses and shops, showing bakers, other traders. And the Romans loved their entertainment, so you see motifs of chariot races, gladiatorial combat in the baths. Gladiators were a distinct Roman thing, of course.
And social structure.
Very organized. They had collegial, basically guilds, carpenters, stonemasons, pipe fitters, plumbers. And then there's the truly memorable detail.
Oh, go on.
Ostia had this massive laundry enterprise, took up a whole city block. They used urine as bleach.
Wait, really? Urine?
Yep, the sources even mentioned pee buckets placed outside shops so men could contribute.
Slight chuckle.
Yeah.
So Ostia had its own unique aroma of industry. Wow. These details, sometimes pretty surprising, they really bring that ancient world alive for you listening.
They do?
You get the practical realities, the economy, the social structures, the daily challenges surrounding those early Christian communities. It makes the New Testament context so much more tangible. It grounds the stories in a world that feels both familiar in its busyness and utterly alien, gets the history off the page.
And connecting that back, these glimpses of ancient life, especially how public and communal it was in cities like Miletus and Ostia, they really highlight a concept from the Patheos sources: imitation in early Christianity.
Imitation, like copying.
Not just flattery. It was seen as a practical, almost necessary way towards ethical transformation in the image of Christ. In a world where life was so visible, where examples were everywhere, the idea that a person becomes what they admire wasn't just abstract theology, it had real tangible meaning. It was about lived reality.
And that idea, ethical transformation, becoming what you admire, it's not just stuck ancient texts, is it? It pops up even now, like in that Watching the Chosen review you shared.
Exactly. That popular TV series, it's not just retelling stories. It seems to actively invite viewers to engage with and, in a way, embody these ancient teachings. It shows Jesus and his followers navigating a world much like Miletus or Ostia.
Right, the world we just pictured.
And it shows how their lives challenge that status quo, how they transform things. It makes those ancient stories feel incredibly relevant, accessible to a whole new audience today.
So it really brings us full circle.
Which raises a question for you, the listener, to think about. How do we today engage with these ancient teachings, these historical figures, whether it's through deep theological study, looking at archaeology, or even through modern storytelling like The Chosen? How does that inform our own ethical transformation, our understanding of the world?
It shows that this quest to understand faith and history, it's always ongoing, isn't it? Always evolving, always open to new perspectives.
Definitely.
We've covered a lot today, from the Gospel Coalition's global mission and those deep ethical insights from Matthew 5.
To the really vibrant, sometimes gritty realities of Miletus and Ostia.
And how all that informs how we think about imitation and interpretation even now. You've hopefully seen how these diverse sources can really come together, painting a comprehensive picture, giving you that well-rounded perspective, connecting past and present.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to chew on. How do those practicalities of ancient city life, the smells of the bakery, the laundry,
The pee buckets.
chuckle slightly. Yeah, maybe even those. The busy ports, the civic buildings, the entertainment. How does all that gritty reality intertwine with those profound calls to humility and authentic character from texts like the Beatitudes?
Interesting contrast.
What unexpected connections, what surprising echoes of the past and the present are you going to keep exploring? And how will you let that inform your own ongoing deep dive into understanding our pretty complex world?